Jack had never been one for crowded celebrations. The roar of Times Square on New Year's Eve, the endless clinking of glasses, the forced cheer of strangers, it all felt so hollow. This year, he wanted silence. He wanted to hear the satisfying crunch of snow beneath his boots, not the thumping bass of a DJ. So he bought a cabin in Vermont, tucked deep away in the woods, a place where the only sound was the wind whispering secrets to the pines. It was supposed to be a fresh start, a clean slate. The cabin was still new to him, its wooden walls smelling faintly of pine and fresh varnish. It was 11:59 p.m. Jack stood in front of the ornate mirror above the fireplace, holding a bottle of champagne he had saved just for this occasion. His reflection looked tired, etched with the lines of a year he'd rather forget, but there was a flicker of hope in his eyes. He whispered to his own reflection, a quiet promise to himself. "Happy New Year, Jack. This one's going to be different." The digital clock on the wall ticked relentlessly toward midnight. 11 hours, 59 minutes, and 45 seconds. He twisted the foil on the champagne bottle, the cork resisting his pull. 11 hours, 59 minutes, and 55 seconds. He braced himself for the celebratory pop, for the ritual cheer, for the symbolic cleansing of the past year. 12 o'clock. The lights went out. For one terrifying second, the cabin was swallowed by an absolute, suffocating blackness. Jack's breath caught in his throat. Then, just as suddenly, the lights flickered back on. Startled, the champagne bottle slipped from his grasp, bouncing harmlessly on the thick rug. At that exact moment, his phone buzzed on the table. Jack frowned. He hadn't given his new number to anyone yet. Not a single soul. He picked it up, a message from an unknown number. The text contained a single image. It was him. Standing right there, in front of the mirror, holding the champagne, but the photo was taken from behind him. The timestamp was chilling, 11 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds. The clock on the wall now read 12:01 a.m. Jack's heart hammered against his ribs like a trapped bird. He spun around, his eyes darting into every shadow, expecting to see someone standing there, camera in hand. But the cabin was empty. The only sound was the faint, mechanical hum of the heater. He rushed to the doors, his hands shaking. Locked. He checked the windows. Latched securely from the inside, he glanced back at the clock on the wall. It still read 12:01. He waited, staring at it, for the numbers to change. They didn't. A wave of panic washed over him. Jack grabbed his coat, his only thought to get out, to leave this place behind. He yanked open the front door, and the cold night air rushed in, a blast against his warm skin. Snowflakes drifted lazily under the moonlight, a picture of peaceful winter. He stepped outside, his boots crunching on the icy porch. But as he pushed forward into the snow, the world seemed to tilt and warp around him, his vision blurred for a dizzying second. He blinked and found himself stepping not onto the snowy ground, but through the kitchen doorway, right back inside the cabin. He stood there, stunned, breathing heavily. The clock on the wall hadn't budged. It was still 12:01. He tried again, the front door, the back door. He even scrambled through the small, frosted window in the bathroom. But every single time, he ended up re-entering the cabin from a different doorway, as if the house itself was folding reality, twisting space to keep him inside. The cabin was no longer a sanctuary. It had become a trap. Hours, or what felt like hours, passed, though the clock remained stubbornly frozen. Jack paced the length of the cabin, his breath fogging in the cold air, his mind racing. In a fit of desperate rage, he grabbed a heavy fire poker and smashed the clock. The glass shattered, spraying across the floor, but the digital hands remained, glowing defiantly. 12:01. Then he heard it, a creak. Floorboards groaning under a weight that wasn't his own. Jack froze, every muscle tensed. The sound came from the hallway. Slowly, heart pounding in his ears, he turned. A figure stood there, cloaked in the shadows of the corridor. It stepped into the light. It was him, but not quite. This version of him was a twisted nightmare. Its face was gaunt, its eyes sunken and hollow, its skin pale and cracked like old, forgotten porcelain. Its smile was a jagged gash, stretching unnaturally wide, too wide, across its face. Jack's stomach plummeted, the figure spoke, and its voice was a distorted, horrifying echo of his own. "You promised," it rasped. "You lied. You wasted another year." Jack stumbled backward, his hands trembling. Who the hell are you?" The figure tilted its head, a grotesque, jerky movement. "I'm you, the you that failed, the you that broke all those promises you made to yourself. The you that wasted countless nights staring at screens instead of actually living. The you that swore this year you'd change. But didn't." Jack shook his head violently, denying it. No, you're not real. You're just a hallucination." The figure took a slow, deliberate step closer. "Oh, I'm more real than you are, and I'm so tired of watching you squander everything. So this year, I take your place." Jack's breath caught in his throat. "What do you mean?" The figure's unnatural grin widened even more. "When the clock finally strikes 12:02, I walk out that door. You stay here forever." In a surge of pure adrenaline, Jack lunged forward. He tackled the figure, and the two of them crashed into the coffee table, the wood splintering under their combined weight. Jack scrambled to his feet, his hand closing around a sharp shard of broken wood. The figure laughed, a hollow, echoing sound that filled the small cabin. "You can't kill me. I'm every mistake you've ever made. Every lie you've told yourself. Every broken promise. I'm the shadow of your past year." Jack swung the wooden shard, striking the figure's shoulder. It staggered back, but there was no blood. Instead, black, acrid smoke hissed from the wound, curling into the air like a dying breath. The figure lunged, impossibly fast, pinning Jack against the wall. Its breath was rancid, smelling of decay and regret, and its eyes glowed with a faint, malevolent light. "You don't deserve another year," it hissed. "You don't deserve another chance." Jack struggled against the crushing weight, his vision blurring at the edges. He thought of every resolution he had abandoned, every promise he had broken, not just this year, but 4 years past. The suffocating weight of his own failure pressed down on him, stealing his breath. And in that moment, in that crushing despair, Jack understood. The cabin wasn't just a physical trap, it was a mirror. A prison built brick by brick from his own regrets. The loop wasn't about time, it was about him, stuck in the endless, repeating cycle of his own failures. This figure, this monster, wasn't a stranger. It was the embodiment of everything he had refused to face. And if he wanted to escape, he couldn't fight it. He had to confront it. Jack forced himself to stop struggling. He looked directly into its glowing, hateful eyes. "You're right," he whispered, his voice hoarse but steady. "I failed. I lied. I wasted so much time. But I'm not going to let you define me." The figure snarled, its grip tightening. It's too late for that. Jack found a new strength, a voice from deep within. He shouted, his voice echoing through the cabin with newfound conviction. "I accept it. I accept everything. But I'm still here. I'm still alive. And I still have a chance." The figure let out a piercing scream, its voice splitting into 1,000 echoes of pain and rage. The entire cabin shook violently, the walls trembling as if they were about to collapse. The shattered clock on the wall flickered erratically, its frozen numbers twitching. 12:01, 12:01, 12:01, then, finally, with a soft click. 12:02, the figure dissolved into a plume of black smoke, its final scream fading into complete and utter silence. At the same instant, the cabin's doors swung open on their own, revealing the snowy, peaceful night beyond. Jack stumbled outside, gasping for air, the freezing cold a welcome shock. It bit into his skin, but it felt real. It felt alive. He looked back. Behind him, the cabin stood silent and dark, its windows like vacant eyes. Jack never spoke of what happened that night. He sold the cabin within weeks, never daring to return to Vermont. But now, every New Year's Eve, as the clock ticks toward midnight, he feels a familiar, icy chill crawl down his spine. Because he knows the loop is still out there, waiting, and if he ever breaks his promises to himself again, if he ever lets another year slip away into regret, the figure will return. Thanks for watching. Remember to face your own shadows before they have a chance to face you. Follow for more stories that linger in the dark.